Yo, what is up, everybody? My name is Jerome, and welcome to the channel. So, first and foremost, I just want to say I am sorry for not uploading videos like I regularly have been doing in the past, where it was like one or two, like 3 videos per week or whatnot. The reason why I have slowed down with the videos is because recently um, my contract opened back up, so I've been back at work and stuff like that. And not only that, but also I have been getting pretty bored with the current meta of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. It's just it isn't as fun as it was like I'll say like about 5 months ago, when basically you can play a lot of different things and it seems like the meta was overall kind of balanced. Now it's like kind of wacky, and it's getting closer and closer to the fact of just a tier 0 meta, which is kind of boring. But anyways, I wanted to start a new series that I've been kind of wanting to start for the past like month now, where basically I want to talk about interesting things that I think are, pretty cool to look at and just kind of make you wonder like why. And and I don't know, just interesting topics. And so they're not all gonna be Yu-Gi-Oh based. Like today, this one, yes, it's gonna be Yu-Gi-Oh based because obviously all of the people that are sub and watch my videos are basically Yu-Gi-Oh players. So I wanted to go ahead and do a Yu-Gi-Oh one right out of the way. Go ahead and get that one over with. And then I wanted to do the next one is not going to be Yu-Gi-Oh related, but it still is interesting, and I think that a lot of you will enjoy it, especially if you are into fitness or whatnot. So anyways, today's topic is going to be about floowandereeze, right? It's going to be about the most irritating, just downright disgusting deck that I think Konami has ever made, and why I think that it shouldn't have ever been made, and why I think it's a problem, and why is it still playable at full power in the TCG compared to everything else, right? So the thing about floowandereeze that I don't like is that it breaks a certain rule of the game that was established, with the game when it first came out, which was each player gets one normal summon per turn, right? And obviously the reason why that is a rule is because if you get more than one normal summon per turn, then the game pretty much gets destroyed instantly, right? It becomes mayhem, and it doesn't make any sense anymore if you can just keep summoning monsters left and right. And also, believe it or not, but floowandereeze isn't the first time that Konami has made, those kind of effects, right? They've already done this like twice in the past, and the first time that they did it was an absolute. It was just bad. It was a bad decision to do. It made sense, but it was bad just because you can easily exploit it. So obviously it failed, and then they tried it again, which led it to be back on the ban list. And then they tried it for the third time, which is literally the definition of insanity. I mean, trying the same thing over, expecting something different, where literally it's the same exact problem. Having more than one normal summon per turn is a huge problem, right? And I just don't agree with it. And yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and dive right into what basically was the similar things that it used to exist that did what it did. So a long time ago, there was a card called Ultimate Offering, where basically it's a continuous trap card. Both players can use it, so any player can use it, and during any person's turn, you can pay 500 life points to normal summon again. Well, it got banned because people back then would just use the gadgets. They can just pay 500, summon a gadget, search for another one, summon another one, search for another one, summon another one, search for another one. You get the point. And then basically they can attack it and activate I think it's called limit removal or limiter removal, something like that. Basically doubles all their attack, and you can pretty much attack per game. So obviously it was a problem, and I think there was other things that you can do with it. And basically it was just a failure, right? Because obviously it wasn't hard to realize that card shouldn't been ever made, right? It broke the rule of the game is to only have one normal summon. So it broke it, and then obviously it became toxic. So they did what they did. which was ban the card. Then fast forward, and we get to a time where they attempt to do it again, but in a monster form. But it also requires still a continuous things, and that is none other than True Draco, right? True Draco kind of breaks this rule again, because you can basically activate one of their spell cards or one of the trap cards, and the spell card allows you to have another summon on your turn, and the trap card gives you a summon on your opponent's turn. So basically, it was somewhat of a balanced. I think that this is probably the closest that they gotten to balancing out this weird game mechanic, and it, in my opinion, that one made sense out of Ultimate Offering and out of Floowandereeze, right? This one made sense because you not only had to have a very specific card, it also had to be, face up, and you had to activate it in order to summon another one, and you had to tribute a continuous spell or trap. So, you had to do basically like 3 different things. You had to have one in your hand, one on the field, spell or trap. You had to have one monster in your hand, one spell or trap on the field, and you had to have that spell or trap activated, that spell activated, and then on your opponent's turn that trap card activated. So you needed 3 cards to basically kind of make this happen. Essentially only 2 technically if you wanted to tribute the card that you activated, the spell card or the trap card, and obviously you only need 2 cards to do that. But anyways, that is probably the most balanced, but still Konami seen this as just too strong, because obviously they react off of your opponent's card's effects, and they can chain to it, get another one, and they can also just refresh their cards back to the deck. And it seems like this endless well, it's not an endless combo, but it just seems like this endless, like, you're not going to be able to kind of exhaust all of their resources. It just, because it keeps just coming right back, like it doesn't really go away. So obviously they did what they did before, and that was hit very specific cards and limit them. And I think even one of them got banned, and I think it's still banned to this day. It's like the boss monster or whatnot, but Dynamite got limited and their field spell got limited. So obviously when that happened, the deck just pretty much disappeared off the face of the planet. Whatever. Fast forward, they tried it again, right? They tried it again with Floowandereeze. Now, in my opinion, it is the strongest one out of both of those situations, because not only is it just an in archetype kind of thing, but it can lock your opponent out of playing the game, right? Not only can you just keep doing all these normal summons on your turn, but also it does all these summons on your opponent's turn, and you lock your opponent out of essentially playing the game, where it be the barrier statue, where it be the Mist Valley thing, or it would be the Monarch card, or it would be the Harpy's trap card that basically shuts, which I can't believe this is even a card. I don't even know why they made it a card. I think it should be errata to say monsters on the field negate their effects. But yeah, it basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a trap card that basically activates, and if you control a wing beast monster or something like that, your opponent's monster effects are shut off for the entire turn. Why is that legal? I don't fucking know. Like, that obviously was a huge mistake that they should have fixed or banned or something a long time ago. I don't know why that was even thought of, but yeah, so I think it does it worse, because at least with True Draco, you had to have multiple cards, right? You had to have the Monarch's Eruption, or you had to have Skill Drain, or you had to have some kind of floodgate continuous card up to help facilitate how it works, right? Whereas Floowandereeze, you don't need that. All you need is one card and one card only, and that's Rabina, right? You normal summon Rabina, you activate its effect. If your opponent cannot negate Rabina's effect or have Droll and Lockbird in their hand, that essentially is, in my opinion, an FTK, because they already know what's going to happen. They already know that you're going to summon, search, summon, search, summon, search, and then possibly summon again, set, pass turn, their turn. They can't normal summon, because if you have the field spell, you get the normal summon. Or if you have the trap card, They already know you're going to normal summon. They already know you're going to basically lock them out of the game, right? And if you have the face up continuous spell card, they already know that you're going to use their stuff in order to summon a monster. And it's just like, why even play at that point? Might as well just scoop and go right into the next game. And I see it happen all the time when a person summons Rabina and it fully resolves and the person doesn't have any answers. Like I said, no negate, no droll. They just go ahead and go right into game 2 because they already know what's going to happen. They're not going to be able to play the game unless they're main decking cards like Lightning Storm, where they can just blow out the back row, or like Dark Ruler no more, and they let them do their thing, and then they Dark Ruler the field, and then they still somehow have a way of wiping their field to come back, basically. But if they don't have those things, then it's essentially just a game 2, which is, you know, it's weird to me that decks like True Draco and a card like Ultimate Offering in Konami's eyes are overpowered compared to what floowandereeze can do. It just doesn't make much sense to me at all. Like, I've literally been trying to wrap my head around that for ever since I found out that floowandereeze was a thing. I was just like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me a trap card, a continuous trap card that you have to pay life points for, and not only can you use it, but your opponent can use it, right? Is banned. But a deck that literally your opponent can't do anything with any of your effects, and it can play on either player's turn, and it can stop them from playing the game, essentially, is fine. How in the hell is that even reasonable? And you mean to tell me that True Draco Dynamite is far better than any floowandereeze card, anything in that deck? Like, how did they come to that? Even the field spell, in my opinion, the True Draco field spell, when you read it, it's probably like, holy crap, that's insane, right? But they even saw fit to limit the field spell, but keep basically almost the same damn thing for floowandereeze legal, like at 3. And it almost does the same thing. Like, it allows you to normal summon on your opponent's turn. And they think that that's fine. And then also, I think it searches out another one or something like that. And you don't. And the crazy thing is, you don't even have to destroy any of your cards to do it. So it's literally a better version of Diagram. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then when I look deeper into it, it's weird how OCG hit them on the ban list. You know, like, okay, cool. So they actually care about their player base. They actually hit floowandereeze. It was needed. And then in Master Duel, had floowandereeze come in. Floowandereeze hasn't even been in the game for a year. I don't even think it's been in the game for 6. Maybe it has been in the game for 6 months. I'm not sure. I don't think it's been in the game for 6 months. But even I think OCG runs Master Duel as well. But even then, even them realized that floowandereeze is a problem, and they addressed it and they hit it on the ban list. So in TCG, I think what it is whoever is in charge or works for the ban list obviously is a floowandereeze player, because they they just keep just like sweeping it under the table, like, oh, you know, like no one pays attention to this deck. Oh, and it's just like, bro, like the deck itself just completely breaks the rule of the game, and also it just has so much crazy bannable cards that it uses. I mean, come on, it literally stops your opponent's like entire turn. It can just say you can't activate no monster effects. People complain about Mystic Mind, but I think this trap card is worse than Mystic Mind, because like you don't even have to have a monster or anything. They can just activate. Whoop, you're done. Like, you got nothing to do for your entire time. Like, that's it. Like, you can't do no monsters. You're relied on spells and traps. That is just the dumbest thing. It's just like, what the hell? So, and not only that, but I don't know. Like, it's just such a weird phenomenon for me that they see True Draco as more of a threat for the meta, for the current style of the game, than they do floowandereeze, which essentially does what True Draco did, but 10 times better. Makes no sense. You can probably unban Ultimate Offering, and you could probably put Ultimate Offering at 1, maybe even 2, and people would probably not even run the damn card, because 1, you have to have it in your opening hand, you have to set it, right? So that's 2 things required. On top of that, you have to have it face up continuously. So that's 3 things that you got to do with it. And at any point, your opponent can use it as well, and they can just get rid of it. So it's like, that's banned. But the deck that does it inherently is just like, nope, that's fine. Like it. And then they get the barrier statue. The barrier statue is just the icing on top of the cake. I mean, it's just like, all right, cool. We can stop all your monster effects, and we can make it to where you can't special summon anything unless it's like a wind type. So in a meta where everything is light, dark, and I would say, yeah, basically just light and dark, right? This is basically a meta right now where everything is light and dark. And I think there is some water in there. You got Toad and stuff like that. So, you know, like, how is that a legal card? Like, it is such a strong anti-meta deck that it is, in my opinion, the strongest anti-meta deck that has been running around untouched for the longest time. We can go back to like the days of Macrocosmos and stuff. I mean, Macrocosmos has been limited for the longest, right? D-Fissure limited for the longest, because these were like very strong anti-meta cards that people used in their anti-meta decks, and essentially all those decks have just died as soon as that happened. And then what else? Like, and then obviously you have all your old stuff like the Royal Oppressions and yada yada yada. That's all is banned, stuff like that. And then you got a fair, in my opinion, a pretty fair anti-meta deck, which is, I know a lot of people hate it, but honestly, I always thought it was fair ever since the first day I seen it, which was Ellic. A lot of people think that Ellic is unfair and they hated it, but in my opinion, it's fair because it uses floodgates, but at the same time, it's like they have to stay on the field for it to even be usable, right? They don't just sit there and shut all your monsters' effects, including hand, graveyard, banished, and all the unfilled, all off. They don't stop you from special summoning. They don't I mean, I guess they can run Omnigates like Solemn Judgment, but they typically, some people do, some people don't, you know. And then it's just like, it seems more fair because they only run 3 monsters, whereas Floowandereeze is just a shit ton of them, and on top of that, they can just run a bunch of draw power cards and a bunch of backward destruction, and they can main deck D-Shifter, which is probably the best hand trap right now. And it's just weird how none of it is addressed at all, like in TCG. None of it. It's very weird and very suspicious, and I just think it's an interesting thing to look at and to talk about. And I just want to say that's basically it for that topic, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Like I said before, I'm going to be doing more of these. I'm going to be working on one tomorrow where I'm going to be talking about the fitness industry basically, and it's going to be a good one because a lot has changed since like maybe 5 years. A lot has changed with it, and it's just not what it used to be. So like I said, oh, and also I'm going to be doing possibly another deck profile coming this weekend. It's going to be a new deck. I'm going to be doing that one, and then possibly another one later on next week. I'm not sure. And then there's regionals that's coming up, so I'm going to be going to that, and hopefully I can figure out what deck that I'm going to be playing for that, and hopefully I do good. So I will have those videos out for you guys, and until then, I will see you guys later, and I hope you have a great and awesome day, and peace.